Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Today is Monday, and we are classifying numbers in the real number system as rational or irrational. Your homework is on quizzes, and it's day 1 homework, 1.6. Classify rational and irrational numbers. So we're going to complete the do now and then our notes. So on the do now, you're going to evaluate each expression by substituting the value of the given variable and then using the order of operations to simplify each expression. So C minus A, C is 3, so we have 3 minus, and A is -4. And remember, subtraction is adding the opposite, so we have 3 plus 4, which is 7. On the next example, B is -12, divided by A is -4. Signs are the same. They're both negative, so your quotient is positive. On example 3, it's 8 raised to the C power, so A is -4. And we are raising that to the third power. So that means A times A times A, or -4 times -4 times -4, which gives -64. Okay, so you want to take a second to write down these notes. Square roots can be rational or irrational numbers. Rational numbers can be written as fractions or decimals. Rational numbers include terminating and repeating decimals. Square roots of perfect squares. Perfect squares are the squares of whole numbers. Irrational numbers cannot be written as a fraction. Irrational numbers are non-terminating and non-repeating decimals, and they are the square roots of non-perfect squares. You may want to stop this video and make sure you have all the vocabulary written down to fill in the blanks. All right, the next thing we're going to do is a rational and irrational number sort. So you want to drag to the appropriate group. So for rational, they are perfect square root. They are repeating decimals. They are terminating decimals. A non-perfect square root is an irrational number, and irrational numbers are non-terminating and non-repeating decimals. So this ... means it goes on for ever and ever without any pattern. So that is a irrational number. 6.5 is obviously written as a fraction. 3.77 or 3.77 is a fraction. Negative square root 25 is -5. This is a repeating decimal, so it's rational. Square root of 91 is irrational. Pi is irrational. Square root of 32 is irrational. And 7 can be written as 14/2, and that is rational. So for the multiple choice, which of the following is not a perfect square? Well, we can go through and evaluate each of these. And so the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 2 cannot be written as a perfect square. The square root of 81 is 9, and the square root of 36 is 6. True or false? A non-perfect square is an irrational number. That is true. This is my first time using, this is something I found online. It's called Pivio. It's kind of neat. I didn't realize I had to erase some of these other slides. I didn't realize it would continue on. All right, so the next thing we have is task 4, which is simplifying and classifying. Your answer is rational or irrational. I would suggest you turn the video off. Take a second to do this. I'm going to classify this as R, and this is as IR. So the square root of 36 is 6, minus 4 squared is 16. That gives me an answer of negative 10. I'm going to first do all the math. I treat a square root symbol like a grouping symbol, so I do the arithmetic inside. So the sum of 12 and 15 is 27. And I can't simplify the square root. Well, I can, but I'm going to leave it like that. 16 plus 9 is the square root of 25. And I'm only going to simplify perfect squares. So you know this is not a perfect square. B is not, C is. 7 times pi is just 7 pi. 3 divided by the square root of 4. Well, the square root of 4 is 2. So I can write this as 3/2. And then the opposite of 13 squared is the opposite of 13 times 13. Another way to look at this is negative 1 times 13 squared. But either way, you're going to have an odd amount of negative signs, so your product is negative. The answer is negative 169. Now I'm going to go through and classify as rational or irrational. So having an answer of negative 10 makes this rational. The square root of 27 is a non-perfect square, so that's irrational. 5 can be written as a fraction. That's rational. 7 pi is irrational. 3/2 is rational. I can write that as a ratio. And negative 169 is rational. Let me just circle this. Okay. So there are the answers once again, written nicely. Great job, everybody. Thank you for working so hard. You are welcome to study your graphic organizer and then go on and please do the quizzes homework. Great job.